Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Vijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivarajacharya Ashtottara Shatashishi Madhus Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shatashishi Madhus Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. The appearance day of His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. 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 All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Seems kind of loud, huh? The microphone? Isn't it? I think it's really loud. So today is the appearance of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada. Oh, really? Disappearance of Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. And appearance of Purushottam Das Thakur. So I'll just read a little bit about Purushottam Das Thakur. It's very brief. Sri Purushottam Das constantly meditated on and served the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Kanu Thakur, his son, was such an exalted devotee that Lord Krishna always lived in his body. When Kanu was 5, Ma Janava, Lord Nityananda's wife, took him to Vrindavan. The Goswamis joyously greeted him upon seeing his genuine devotion. So that's Purushottam Das Thakur's son. In Goloka Vrindavan, Purushottam Das Thakur serves Lord Balarama as a cowherd boy. Dwadasa Gopal. Purushottam Das Thakur Ki Jai. Yeah, very short. So, I'll say Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's pranati, his pranams. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Kripabdeye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Purve Namaha Adiro Jada Prema Da Shri Rupa Nuga Bhakti Da Shri Gauda Kuruna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostite Namaste Gaudavani Shri Murti Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudappa Sadanto Dantaharine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna on this earth, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Das, which is another name of his, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and the deliverer of the signs of Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who delivered devotional service enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of the revelation of Srila Rupa Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Amaganativedandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshudan Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Pakam Garirvachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yak Kripata Maham Vande Shri Gurun Diditaranam Vansha Kaptribhishcha Kripa Sindhibevicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was a householder, he wrote a poem one year on the appearance of his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And it said he was 38 years old at the time, living in Allahabad, working as a pharmaceutical, at his own business. And his godbrothers, they liked it very much, and they started calling him Kavi, or poet, based on this poem. And when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur heard the poem, he was very pleased. And he especially was pleased by one stanza. He was so pleased he would show it to his guests who would come and visit him. And that stanza was, absolute is sentient thou hast proved, in personal calamity thou hast moved. Now this poem was lost for some time, like Prabhupada didn't hold on to it. And Guru Das happened to be searching around in some museum or something in London, and he found some old Harmonious magazine or whatever it was. And he found this. So when Prabhupada was happy to see it, and interesting enough, as Prabhupada, he changed one word, he edited a few things, but one of the things he edited was this. He changed it to removed. In personal calamity thou hast removed. So anyways, he wrote it, and devotees were very pleased, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was pleased. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said to the devotees who were taking care of this harmonist journal they would publish and distribute, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told the devotees in charge that he said, whatever he writes, you should publish it. So I'll just read that 8 stanzas of His Divine Grace, 108, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. So this is Prabhupada's poem. Adore ye all the happy day, blessed in heaven, and sweeter than May. When he appeared at Puri, the holy place, my Lord and Master, his divine grace. Oh, my Master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light up thy candle. Struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope, your divine grace. Misled we are, all going astray. Save us, Lord, our fervent prayer. Wonder thy ways to turn our face, adore thy feet, your divine grace. Forgotten Krishna, we fallen souls, pain most heavy, the illusions toll. Darkness around, all distress, the only hope, your divine grace. Message of service thou hast brought, a meaningful life as Chaitanya wrought. Unknown to all, it is full of grace. That's your gift, your divine grace. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved, and personal calamity thou hast removed. This gives us a life anew and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. Had you not come, who had told the message of Krishna, forceful and bold? That's your right. You have the mace. Mace means save me the fallen, your divine grace. The line of service as drawn by you, it's pleasing and healthy as morning dew. The oldest of all, but in a new dress, miracle done, your divine grace. So by Charan Das Adhikari wrote it. Interesting, Prabhupada used this, and sweeter than May. So Prabhupada explains that he heard that in the West, May is a very pleasing time, but in India it's really hot. So interesting, he used the Western. And Srila Prabhupada, he spoke on this one time in Hyderabad, December 10th, 1976. He spoke on it. And that's where he explained this idea that pleasing in the Western countries. Yeah, he was, because he understood that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted him to preach in English, so he was, so he wrote it in English. So it's in this book, the lecture, A Shower of Divine Compassion, collected poems from all Prabhupada's poems. So the lecture's in here. All right, so just also read a brief description of his life here. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur preached convincingly against casteism and philosophical deviations from Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we should be very happy he did that. You want to know why? Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We'd be somewhere else. Maybe Ramapati. You probably wouldn't be here either. Yeah, you'd be in it. But you would be a devotee, but probably the rest of us, at least born in America, I mean, with all due respect, even Prabhupada's godbrothers, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur initiated many devotees. Even Prabhupada's godbrothers, even though his spiritual master was preaching against this, they themselves held a little bit of this mood about how can Westerners actually be elevated. Now, I'm not saying this as a criticism, because who am I to criticize them, but they did hold this in the sense that, and they also historically, they would criticize Prabhupada for doing certain things he did. And when, of course, not all of his god brothers, but some of them. And when in India, some of his god brothers wouldn't take the prasadam cooked by Prabhupada's disciples. Why? Because, uncultured blechas, this and that. They didn't see him as qualified Brahmins. So we're also very happy that Srila Prabhupada perfectly understood Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, one of his main things, that you don't have to be born in a Brahmin family necessarily to become a Brahmin. Of course it helps with the training and all that, but by training, by education, by culture, all that, one can become qualified. So he preached against that. He tried to unite the four Vaishnava Sampradayas by publishing their teachings. Srila Saraswati Thakur earned the title Narsingha Guru for his fearless and powerful delivery of the Vaishnava Siddhanta. Mayavadis would cross the street to avoid confronting the lion guru. So they try to avoid him. He's a little heavy. Quite heavy. Besides being a courageous preacher, he was ornamented with all divine qualities and full of ecstatic love of God. He established 64 Gaudiya Math temples in India and centers in Burma, England, and Germany. Srila Saraswati Thakur excavated Lord Chaitanya's appearance place at Yoga Pit in Sridham, Mayapur, despite heavy opposition from the money-hungry caste Goswamis of Navadvip. He built a beautiful Gaudiya Math temple there. So he had so much opposition because there were personalities there in Navadvip and surrounding that they would claim, and even to this day they claim, that their site is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, no, this is where he appeared. And he based that off of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He had all these spiritual visions. He himself, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was wondering where is Mahaprabhu's birthplace, and him at his house across the Jalangi, he was looking, and then he would see all these kind of lights and mystical things happening, and wondering what is this, and then he went there to the place, and there was all these tulsi plants growing there, and he asked the villager or the locals, and so on. So he found out it was that was the place, and to confirm this, he brought the Paramahamsa Vaishnava Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who at that time was really elderly. He was so elderly that one of his disciples, or a few of his disciples, carry him in a basket, and it said also that they have to lift his eyelids open because he couldn't, the skin was just. But when he went there, it said that he leaped out of the basket and started dancing. And actually, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. So he helped in establishing that, and he built a temple there. It's still there. Everybody visits there when they go to Mayapur. But these money-hungry caste Goswamis, they were just really opposed to this. Because if their place is not the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth, how are they going to raise the funds and so on? Yeah. His 3 Brihat Mridangas printing presses in Madras, Calcutta, Krishnanagar used to pump out books, magazines, and newspapers to spread the message of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. When asked why he printed a daily spiritual newspaper entitled Nadia Prakash, Srila Saraswati Thakur replied, if an insignificant city can produce 5 daily newspapers, then why can't we publish a newspaper every second about the eternal, ever-fresh, transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His unlimited spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan? Apart from his father's writings, he published many authorized shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal, Prema Bhakti Chandrika, and his favorite book, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He predicted that foreigners would learn Bengali to relish the nectar left by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he would advise his disciples to read regularly Nectar of Instruction and also Prema Bhakti Chandrika by Narottam Das Thakur. And Prema Bhakti Chandrika, within that book, we have the song that we sing every day to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Guru Charana Padma, the song. And he gives a little commentary there. Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's spiritual master, he was asked at one point, he said, what's the price for love of God? And he just said something like 6 paisas, which it means like a little money, like just cents, practically nothing. And then the person, like if Dharmaraj asked, what's the price of love of God? And I said, oh, the price of love of God is 80 rupees, something like that, or $5. And then the man was saying, oh, well, how is that, Babaji Maharaj? And he said, well, you go down to the local market and you find yourself a copy of Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. And you read that every day and you'll develop your love for Krishna, love for God. So there's so many things like that that we ourselves know of, that if we do that on a regular basis, it will help us develop love for Krishna quicker. Like chanting of the Shikshashtaka. It says every day, if you chant it every day, then you get closer to Krishna Prem. He introduced many innovations to expand preaching. All over India he staged free theistic exhibits and dioramas depicting the pastimes of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Employing the latest technology, he even had animated dolls. To commemorate the many holy places visited by Mahaprabhu, he installed marble impressions of the Lord's lotus feet. Breaking tradition, he let sannyasis wear tailored kurtas and overcoats, ride in cars and motorboats, and carry Mahaprabhu's message across the sea to Europe. I mean, I was listening to a lecture by His Holiness Indrayumna Swami, and Indrayumna Swami was saying that he was quoting some, I think it's from Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava or some scripture, or some biography of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he was talking about this exhibition of how he would set up, the dolls, animated dolls, this and that. And he said that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he really went out of his way. It was almost like creating a bit of a circus for people. Of course, some people say, "Oh, it's mundane," but he created all this entertainment to bring the crowd. And then when they're going through all the entertainment, right, whatever it was, I don't know, somebody, whatever they were doing, some type of entertainment, juggling or whatever they were doing. Magic show, and they'd walk through all exhibits, and there'd be something about Bhagavad Gita, and then at the end there'd be a bookstore. So I mean, it's quite merciful. So yeah, and all these rules which tailored kurtas, overcoats. So he did all this just to Yukta Vairagya, engage in things in Krishna's service, going over to Europe. Srila Saraswati Thakur's revolutionary preaching ideas sprang from the Shastric principle of Yukta Vairagya set forth by the Rasacharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. Being an eternal liberated soul, Srila Saraswati Thakur knew how to perfectly engage Maya, the illusory energy, in the service of Lord Krishna. Following Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda's footsteps, he preached Daivi Varnashram to harmonize society and provide spiritual fulfillment for all. Advocating the teachings of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath Das Goswamis, he taught the science of devotional service and showed thousands how to attain pure love for Sri Sri Gandharvaka Giridhari, Radha Krishna. Aside from his phenomenal preaching success in India, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's greatest contribution was His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whom he initiated and inspired to distribute Krishna consciousness all over the world. When Srila Prabhupada was asked to describe his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, "What can I say? He was a Vaikuntha man." So, within this book, Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, it says that somebody asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur about his preaching, and because he was completely into preaching, and he was traveling all over India, and I mean attracting large crowds of people. It was quite a figure, still is. So one man was confused that, oh, you're out there in the world preaching and this and that and traveling all over in cars and boats and all these, setting up all these theistic exhibitions, but we see that Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj is quite the opposite. And Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was the personification of renunciation. Sakshad Vairagya Murti, he's a personification of renunciation. In that he would eat, he wouldn't be eating the materially nice thing, prasad, he'd be eating the earth. He would just eat the earth, like mud from the Ganga. And he'd eat uncooked rice and other things which people considered unedible. And it said that he would wear rejected cloth off of dead corpses, and sometimes it said here in Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava that he would not wear any clothes. Just the four directions are clothing him. And he was completely absorbed in chanting Hare Krishna and worshiping Krishna to such a degree that he was he wasn't involved in this world at all for preaching, for anything. So a man said, "You and your guru seem quite different, and how is it that you're preaching so much and your guru's like this?" So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, just like on a boat, when a boat is moving across the ocean, it might just look like it's moving, but there's the rudder, right, that's moving it, isn't it? Propeller that is moving it. So he said, similarly, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing so many things, spreading Krishna consciousness, but Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji is like the propeller. He's propelling all of my activities. He's inspiring all of them. But again, they were quite, on some level, different, at least externally. So now I'd just like to read about this is the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, and this is by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami. My spiritual master, he said that before the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava came out, he felt that he actually never really knew Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. At least, of course he knew of him and to some degree, but he really felt that upon reading this book he got so much. My spiritual master, His Holiness Giraj Swami. So I'll just read. This is about his initiation, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's initiation from Gorgashodas Babaji. Okay. Although many reputed gurus were desirous to count Sri Siddhanta Saraswati as their own, because you can imagine such a qualified person as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there's some gurus they wanted to have him as a disciple, have a qualified disciple. And sometimes devotees nowadays, they say, oh, I really wish I could encounter a qualified spiritual master. And I've heard that sometimes spiritual masters around these days, they say, I really wish I could encounter a qualified disciple. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was quite a qualified person, so many gurus, and for many reasons, probably there were mundane reasons, they wanted to count them as one of his disciples for prestige and all that. He detected, Saraswati Thakur, he detected their insincerity, spurned their wooing, and stood opposed to them. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur had been his Shiksha Guru from birth, and he had given him Harinam and mantras for worshipping. You know who he was worshipped? Sri Nrsimha Dev and Sri Kormadev. Yet, so that Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could attain additional spiritual shelter, guidance, and inspiration from his future colossal service, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent him to Srila Gorgashodas Babaji for further initiation. Sri Siddhanta Saraswati was decidedly aristocratic, intellectual, and of exemplary virtuous deportment, whereas by external consideration, Babaji Maharaj was illiterate, cranky, and crude. Now there's a footnote down here. It says that it is generally accepted that Babaji Maharaj could not even sign his own name, which was not uncommon. Most of India's population was illiterate. Yet he would offer verbal commentary during readings of Srimad Bhagavatam, possessed some books, and sometimes wrote letters dictated to and sent by Nafar Chandrapal Chaudhuri to apparent disciples. Hence, he was not wholly unscholarly. Indeed, he is reputed to vehemently refuse, back to the reading, persons who approach him for diksha, even sometimes beating them with an umbrella. Sometimes the disciples, right, nowadays you ask for initiation and they don't give you immediate yes, or it's just not so clear, or whatever it may be. But here, what did Gorgashodas Babaji do? It said he used to sometimes beat him with umbrellas. Get out of here. I don't want to initiate you. That wouldn't go too well, right? In ISKCON politic world. Oh, I went up to this so-and-so Maharaj and I asked him for it, and he beat me with his danda, right? Wouldn't go so well. Predictably, he also declined to induct this would-be disciple, caring not a whit for his apparent good qualities, which shook Sri Siddhanta Saraswati, accustomed as he was to being respected. Babaji Maharaj told him, I once accepted a disciple, but he cheated me and went away. I will not make any further disciples. So that's what he told Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I'm not going to make any further disciples. But Sri Siddhanta Saraswati was not easily discouraged. You can imagine, right? Pretty determined. And again begged for mercy. Sri Siddhanta, Babaji Maharaj responded. Does anyone remember what he responded with? Yeah. I'll ask Mahaprabhu, if he gives permission, your request will be granted. When after a few days Sri Siddhanta Saraswati returned and inquired, what was Mahaprabhu's order? Babaji Maharaj replied, I forgot to ask. And when Sri Siddhanta Saraswati came for the third time, he was directly refused. I asked, Babaji Maharaj said, but did not receive the command of Mahaprabhu. Sri Siddhanta Saraswati was devastated. he stood up and uttered, Karuna na hoilo kandia kandia pran na rakibo ar. Without your mercy, weeping and weeping, I will no longer sustain my life. Sri Siddhanta Saraswati resolved that however many times he might be refused, no further would he rotate in the world without gaining Babaji Maharaj's grace. Seeing this young aspirant's genuine desire and commitment, Babaji Maharaj relented. He told Sri Siddhanta Saraswati to bathe in the nearby Saraswati. Telling Saraswati to bathe in the nearby Saraswati. I really like to I thought there was some anyways. Okay, to bathe in the nearby Saraswati. I thought there were some footnotes, but as far as I remember, I read Bhakti Vikas Swami saying that it's not that Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying, I'm going to go commit suicide, like he's going to go, but he was saying this, without your mercy, weeping, I will no longer sustain my life. But it wasn't like he was about to go. So he bathed in the Saraswati, a tributary of the Ganga, and then returned, that he was told him, and then returned, after which he accepted him as a disciple. This was January 1900. Sri Siddhanta Saraswati later reflected on this incident. When, out of false ego, I was thinking, I am a great scholar of mathematics and philosophy, let any big pundit come at my time, day or night. At any time, day or night, I will cut his proposition to pieces. At that time, I got the darshan of the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. He ignored everything that was previously appreciated in me, my truthfulness, my moral and pious life, and my intellectualism, knowing them to be of little value. When I saw that he ignored whatever was good in me, I realized how good he himself must be. Who could neglect so many good qualities in me? What inconceivable wealth he possessed. Being neglected by him, I understood that there was no one more fallen and contemptible than myself. That was my actual identity. The very things that I had adjudged desiderata, such as scholarship and upright character, this exalted soul regarded as valueless. So that's the point that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is making, that he's such a great personality, Gaura Kishore Babaji, that he wasn't impressed like everybody else was with these different things, good qualities. And that's how you know that a devotee's not bought out, that, oh, I'll accept this disciple if he has so much money, or if he's very intelligent, or on and on and on. It doesn't really matter. And the spiritual master is not impressed with that. So that's what he's making the point. I apprehended that within myself this noble personality possessed priceless treasure. I then pondered that he either is externally, that he is extremely puffed up, or exceedingly merciful. I then haughtily said to my Gurudev, you are a worshipper of that cheater and debauched Krishna, so why would you be compassionate to someone like me, dedicated to ordinary morality? Humbly and sincerely I prayed to the Supreme Lord for His mercy. Later, by His grace, I recognized that without receiving the blessings of this peerless saint and without serving him, nothing good could happen to me. When I accepted that and acted accordingly, and then received the causeless, unlimited grace of my Sri Gurudev and refuge at his lotus feet, I deemed my life fulfilled. I had considered my Gurudev to be unequaled in vairagya, but somewhat short of learning. But he reduced to powder my audacity born of book learning. With the mallet of his mercy, he revealed that whatever I had adjudged to be the highest ideal was in fact most low and despicable. When by his grace that instruction first entered my ears, my diminutive brain lacked the capacity to accommodate such transcendental knowledge. But to all fools like me, he gave the chance to hear such lofty topics. I have understood that if the people of this world do not receive the same jolt that I received from my Gurudev, then their consciousness will not awaken. Therefore I am telling everyone, I am more foolish than anyone else on earth. Please, all of you, do not be foolish like me. Do not live your life within the limitation of calculating consciousness. Discuss Vaikuntha Katha, and you will become a great person. I am telling you that what I have realized to be supremely beneficial. So that's the end of his. Although Babaji Maharaj always strictly forbid anyone to touch his feet, once he voluntarily placed them on Sri Siddhanta Saraswati's head and ordered him, preach the absolute truth, keeping aside all other activities, thus confirming his disciples' life mission. And the last thing that says, these are the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur revealed that his guru gave him 3 instructions that he apparently didn't follow. One was, does anyone remember what those are?
He didn't follow?
Yeah.
He didn't follow the dragon's body to
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, he did not to go to Calcutta?
Yeah, not to go to Calcutta. Don't accept disciples. So he said, do not make any disciples, don't, not to associate with anyone. And the third was not to go to the world of Maya. You know what that was? Calcutta. This was, whatever, 100 years ago or more or so. It's the world of Maya, Calcutta. I mean, you can imagine it now, right? Or you can imagine the Western cities. The world of Maya. I mean, it's Calcutta, 120 years, the world of Maya. Whoa. So he told him not to go there. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati then affirmed about himself. He did not make any disciples, because he actually, these 3 things apparently did not follow, so this is how he explains it. He did not make any disciples, and how was that? Those who consider themselves his disciples were in fact his gurus. For by observing their ideal inclination for Hari Seva, service to Krishna, his own tendency to serve increased. That's how they're his gurus. How did he not associate with anyone? Association means to accept something from others, but he only accepted what was given by his Guru Maharaj. And the third, he never went to Calcutta, but only to the Gaudiya Math, which, although ostensibly situated in Calcutta, was actually Vaikuntha, without dullness, beyond the influence of Kali. So he didn't go to Calcutta. It's kind of interesting. And when he actually went to establish a temple and all that, that's where he met Srila Prabhupada. So after his Nam Bhajan, it also describes here, what is it? Billion names? Billion names?
Yeah, billion names.
Yeah, billion names. 9 years chanting in a little hut, right? When it would rain, he'd just hold the umbrella up, chanting practically all day, having little rice or whatever. And then after that, he went in to establish a Gaudiya Math in Calcutta, and then he met Srila Prabhupada. Now that Alta Dunga in Calcutta, when you fly into Calcutta, Dum Dum Airport, how far is that from the airport? Oh, really? Alta Dunga, it's close. It's not far. Interesting. Oh, yes. It's in the Dum Dum district, the airport. So you're saying it's just 30 minutes from the airport, huh? Okay. Because Bhajanarayan Swami just said recently that ISKCON was successful in purchasing that place. Because in India, the law is, when you can't kick anyone out. When they live there, it's just like squat. They just squat there, and you got to wait till you got to offer them tons of money to leave the property. You got to wait till they die, and even then it might work. They're. So as far as Bhajanarayan Swami said to purchase that property, have you ever been there before? Oh, you haven't, huh? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how it looks. I mean, I don't know, some balcony, because they said he met him on the balcony there, Alta Dunga. Apparently there's a temple there, right? Or some type of preaching he was doing there or something. So anyways, all right, so So yeah, so today is his appearance day, and we could pray. We should pray and meditate and read and listen to lectures about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And the Puspanjali, of course, is this at 11:50. And in this way, we could try to get some mercy and follow him. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
So that number 1 Alta Danga Road was supposed to be the first place he ever went after coming from Navadvip, right?
You know, it doesn't really say so much in the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we could go back and look at it, but it just says that Prabhupada's friend Narendra Mullik asked Srila Prabhupada, young Abai, to go with them, and then they went there, and they went to Alta Danga, this place, and then they walked up the flight of stairs, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sitting there, and then they had their conversation. Now I don't remember in the Lilamrita if it says that it was a temple, but because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he's preaching everywhere. I mean, he's preaching here, preaching there, going to devotees' houses and place this place, that place. He was going all over, so I don't really recall. But yeah. But that place is important, and if ISKCON has it, it's like absolutely amazing, because that is the place where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada first met, and that's where that conversation happened. So it is an important place. And of course, there's the Bagh Bazaar, which I went there. Still a very nice temple in Calcutta. So. Okay, nice. You need a dictionary too. I mean, at least I need a dictionary. It's like he really used.
Well, he put on the glass in the back.
Yeah. Oh.
He purposely put in hard words in there. Like, for woman, you got some other, like, we don't want to get about.
Oh.
In order to, like, recall, writing.
Oh.
It's not the usual, you don't usually use words that everyone knows, if there's a word that everyone knows, but he did that.
Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you say it like, okay, here's a word. Adroitness. Right? You know that? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, well, how about... I didn't know that one. Anyways, there's a bunch of words here. I'm trying to think of ones that Dravida Prabhu doesn't know. Yeah. Trying to think. Purality?
Plurality?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Shabbos.
All right, there you go. All right, how about verse verisimilitude?
Verisimilitude is similarity.
All right, how about theopomorphism?
Theomorphism?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to... It says worship of deities who have animal forms. That's what it says. Theomorphism. Anyway, so how about razzmatazz? An extravagant showiness devoid of substantial meaning. Right? So anyways, there's a bunch of interesting words. Nugatory. Stop being so nugatory. It says nugatory means, what does it say? Nugatory. Worthless. So anyways, there's some, okay, good. All right. So yeah, that's actually very helpful. It's all in the back. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? No? Okay. All right. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai.